Hi, our drawing today is about making a graph to show data, and we're going to draw a picture graph. So we need a piece of paper and something to write with, and we will get started by drawing a line right down the middle of our paper horizontally, straight line all the way across like this. And then we're going to make another line halfway up between the top and the middle. So we're dividing our paper into fourths. And another line down here between the middle and the bottom, all the way across. And then we're going to make a line from the top to the bottom that is where our labels will go. So in the top one, we're going to write tulips. So we have T, U, L, I, P, S. Then next we have daffodils. So D, A, F, F, O, D, I, L, S. And then crocuses. C, R, O, C, U, S, E, S. And we have grape hyacinths. It's two words. So grape, G, R, A, P, E. And then hyacinths, H, Y, A, C, I, N, T, H, S. All right, so we're going to make our picture graph of how many of these there were in a garden. So since you can't see the garden, you're going to have to imagine it with me, and I'm going to tell you how many as we draw. So in the garden there were 4 tulips. So I'm going to space out my tulips really nicely here. So the first tulip I'll make like a U shape, and then from the point I'll go down, up, down, up. There's 1 tulip. There were 4, so I need 3 more. So let's move it over just a little bit, and we'll do another U, down, up, and move it over again. I'm trying to keep these in a nice row, down, up, and 1 more for 4. Okay, so there were 4 tulips in the garden, and we can see that right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there were 6 daffodils. So when I draw my daffodils, I'm going to line them up with the tulips, and then I'll keep going if there are more. So for the daffodils, I'm going to make 2 straight lines that angle out just a little bit, curve over the top, enter on the bottom, and then on the side, I'm going to make a sideways loop that goes out and back, and then I'm going to start making loops that go down like long, really long U shape, or almost like a teardrop shape, and out to the side. So there's my first daffodil. There's 1, and there were 6 daffodils in the garden. So there's 1. Let's do 2. Another one here. 3, and another one. 4, and then I need to go to the side here. 5 and 6. Okay, and then in the garden there were 3 crocuses. These kind of have like you go up to a point and back down about 6 times. If you can fit that many petals on there. So there's 1. You can even do 3, and then you can kind of come back and do the ones behind. So There's 1, 2, and 3 crocuses. In the garden there were 5 grape hyacinths. These are those flowers that look like little mini grapes. So we'll do a stem like this, and then we're going to just cover it in little circles coming down to represent the grape hyacinths. So there's 1, we need 5. So I'm still trying to keep them in a line here. So there's the next one. One more. So 1, 2, 3. 4. And 5. Okay, so this is our picture graph. Now you can go ahead and sign your name and get some supplies to color with. Today I'll be using oil pastels to color, and if you have some oil pastels, that would be great if you want to use the same thing as me. And if you don't, then you could choose colored pencils, paint, crayons, markers, just anything you have will work great. If you don't have any of those, you can shade them in with your pencil or pen that you used. So if you have some of these colors, we're going to look for colors that match the actual flower. So for tulips, they can be all kinds of colors, right? So you can choose what color you want for your tulip. I'm going to choose a bright red because I want to make them a different color than my other flowers, just so they stand out. So that's why I'm not choosing yellow, because I know that the daffodils will be yellow. And so I'm going to do some bright red. I'll show you a cool trick in a second here. So with oil pastels, they start out just like crayons. You can outline the edges and then color it in. And if you press pretty hard, not too hard, you don't want to break it, but if you press on it, then it should make a really bright, bold color. If you're using the tips, I'm using the edge right there, just that very tip. So I look for like some part of it that can be an edge or a point. So that part looks a lot like crayon, but here's something cool that you can do with oil pastels. If you go over it with another color, then it will actually blend the two colors a little bit, because these oil pastels, they're just so oily. They just are almost more like paint when it's wet and it mixes. Because these are a little bit more wet almost than like a colored pencil or a crayon, then they blend a little bit, so you can see how it kind of mixes in there. Okay, and then I need my yellow here for my daffodils. Now, I did this math story, from a pretend garden. But if you want to, you could go to a garden that's by where you live. If you have flowers at your house or a park or another neighbor, if your parents take you there, and you could just count you can see what kinds of flowers they have and count how many there are of each one, and then you could make your own picture graph just like this, but counting the ones that are near you. That'd be really fun. They might be similar flowers, or they might be different. And you can figure out how to draw them. Okay, so crocuses can also be different colors. I'm going to do a yellow center here, and then I'm going to make mine purple, even though I've got some purple down here. So I guess I will have some that are the same color, but these will have yellow inside. So that will make them a little different. Now, if you don't want the colors to mix together, then you need to make sure you don't blend them. Because if you do go over the top of another color, it will start mixing. So like my purple and yellow, I don't want those to mix together. So I'm just keeping them separate. And because this is a small shape, I'm trying to just use the tip of my pastel here. Okay, and if your hand starts getting tired or you want to take a break and do something else, if you're needing to just switch your focus up, you can turn the video off, pause it, and then come back and finish later. That's always an option. I'll use a different color of purple for these. I'll maybe mix some of this color purple and some bluish. Sometimes they look a little bit bluish purple too. And I can just blend those with the oil pastels. On most of my flowers, I didn't draw stems because I just wanted to show the flower. On a picture graph, you don't have to draw the whole thing. You can just draw a picture that's like a symbol to represent something. But with these grape hyacinths, I did the stem just because the flower is, it goes down the stem. So I wanted to show that. Otherwise, you might not know what it was. Blue here on top. Kind of mix that in. It's fun to take one color that you want to make like purple and make it in your own way. Remember, we know that red and blue make purple. So if you're making purple, you can add in some red, some blue, some pink. If you have different kinds of purples, you can mix those all together to make your own version of purple. All right, now because this is an art project, I'm going to add some background colors here to help this look a little more finished. So we're combining our art with our math today. And I'm going to be using some of the side of my pastel, like this. So I outline the edge, and then now I have some of the side showing. I can rub that on here, and it will create an interesting texture. And it will also help me cover the whole space more quickly. And this is great that I'm doing this with oil pastel because if I had chalk pastel and I wanted to make this texture, I could do it, but then it would be all dusty and it would want to come off the paper. But this oil pastel isn't like that. Since it's more oily, instead it sticks to the paper better. So I don't have to worry too much about rubbing it in with a cloth or anything like that. You can do that. So if you're using the side of an oil pastel and you want to blend it in a little more, then you can take a cloth or tissue or something else to blend with and rub it in. But the reason I'm not drawing anything else in the background is because we're trying to compare. So I don't want to confuse anyone by drawing anything else here. We want to see which one has more and less. So I just leave the rest of it blank. But I'm just choosing colors to fill it in with. Now let's do some of this for the daffodils. Oh, and I forgot about my the word. We'll put a background for the word too. There. We just want it to look really bright and colorful since this is our art. Okay, and then same thing, I'm going to just outline the edges first. So hopefully that will help me stay inside the lines. And then if I have a big open space like this, I can just go all the way across it. And then it's a little trickier when I have these flowers. I have to kind of go up and around them. So if you can see that. To kind of slow down and go in between each petal. I might not be able to use this side as much while I'm going around those. I might need to outline it first, and then I can use the side for these bigger parts. So, I'm gonna try not to go into the flowers too much. This one is probably going to take the longest because the daffodils have so many little shapes to go around. You can see how I'm trying to go around each petal. And also because the daffodil is yellow, it's a lighter color than the background. So see up here, if I accidentally did a little green on top of the red, you can't see it very well. So that's okay, I don't have to be as careful. But down here, if I accidentally put the pink on top of the yellow, it will really show up because it's darker. So I'm trying to be really careful to just go around the outside. And then I can fill in with my cool texture in the open spaces around it. that blended in. All right, and now for my crocuses, let's see, I'm going to choose, make sure you can still see that, okay. I'm going to choose a light blue for that background, just for fun. There we go. I've already got this one peeled off a little bit. Now this one is lighter than the purple, so again, I don't have to worry about this one as much because I can just kind of lightly go up to the edge of the flower and go around like that, and you can't really tell as much if it went over it because the purple is so much darker. So that's good. That makes that a little easier. Sometimes this happens where if you start pressing too hard, this is going to break off. So just be aware of how hard you're pushing, and sometimes it breaks and that's okay. You don't want to have too small of pieces broken off though, because then it will be really hard to hold them when you want to color. Okay, there's my blue, and last I have my grape hyacinths. So I've been trying to choose for most of these some opposite colors. So I chose green for the red. Those are opposite each other on the color wheel. They're complementary colors. And then I chose this pink for the yellow because it's close to purple, and so I wanted to have those be also pretty opposite. On this one, for the crocuses, I did a color that's analogous, so it's actually close to the other color on the color wheel, but the difference is the purple's really dark and the blue's really light, so it still has like an opposite effect, so it stands out. And down here, I'm back to using the complementary color again, so the purple with the yellow, they're opposite on the color wheel. All right, thank you for drawing with me today. I hope you had fun, and have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.